Okay, you are more than welcome to start off by pausing and reading our 12 rules of reading biblical text. And if you don't like the 12 rules, well, this isn't the place for you. If you don't understand the 12 rules, go listen to the audiobook that is uploaded on this channel because I don't have time to go over it every time. These are Bible study series that go pretty in depth. Warning, we're not language watching people. We're very salt of the earth, down to earth. It also does not follow the politically correct patterns of modern preachers and teachers. So if you're looking for that, also definitely not the place for you.
Psalm 121 today, and it's going to be really short, I think. I always say that, it's never short, but all right, Psalm 121. Okay, so what we know so far is we're changing our worldview, and sometimes that's really uncomfortable, and sometimes it's really exciting. So I'm not sure if you're feeling uncomfortable or excited right now, but we're changing our whole worldview from looking at it from a Western modern lens to a more ancient lens, which is cool. And we're also changing our worldview from seeing this as a book of stories and myths to actually reading the Old Testament as the prophesied Messiah is coming, and all of those prophecies and how amazing that is, and that it's a supernatural book, and that it's a supernatural worldview, and that you are pawns in the chessboard. You are, well, to Satan your pawns, to God your soldiers, on this big chessboard in a DNA seed war. And that's the view of eternity, which is a whole fucking lot different than most people living on the planet when they look up and they're like, their life is so valuable to them. And I'm not saying life's not valuable, but it's so valuable to them because that's all it is. They're not seeing the bigger giant picture of, holy shit, this is a giant seed war happening on this planet. And we are in the game or not in the game. And I don't want to be on the sidelines of the game. I want to use the time that God has given me here to be a warrior on that field, right? I don't want to be some asshole sitting over on the sidelines worrying about, my mother-in-law and my credit card debt. I want to be, if this is the war of all fucking eternity, dude, I want to be a soldier in that battlefield. And that's sort of where we're going now that we have the culture and the worldview a little bit shifted and we're learning through that piece. Now comes the part in the rest of the summer where we learn about what God does for us and then what we do for him. And it's a warrior. And if you don't have a warrior spirit and you're not ready for that, you sit on the sidelines, and that's okay. But the more you learn, the more warrior you get. And so with that, I'm going to jump into Psalm 121. Okay, I lift my eyes up to the hills, but the presence of God on earth was there. So from where does my help come? Well, it comes from the Lord. The word here is Adonai, and that means the creator of all things, right? We talk about, Elohim, capital with the Most High God. This is not just Adonai is the creator of fucking everything, the source creative energy, if you will, and you want to put a woo-woo new age spin on it. That's what we call source creative energy, like the nexus, the beginning of everything, and the place where all creation comes from. I mean, that's fucking huge. So Adonai is a huge word. And who made heaven and earth? He'll not let your foot be moved or slip. In the Hebrew, he who keeps you will not slumber. And this basically means your guardian will not sleep. He doesn't sleep. He's keeping watch over you all the time. So these are all the things that you get from God. Okay, this is God's part. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. And yes, it's Israel, right? We're part of that royal family. So even though it says he who keeps Israel, don't let any modern preachers tell you, well, that's just for Israel. That's not for us. No, 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 no.
Chapter 7, vocabulary, back to Israel again.
Will neither slumber nor sleep. So he's not even going to relax. He's not sleeping, but he ain't relaxing either. The Lord is your keeper. All through this psalm and this version, this translation, it keeps saying keeper, keeper, keeper. Every time you hear keeper, I want you to hear guardian. And every time it's keep, it's guard. So just change those words right out because it's way bigger than keeper. It's like a bulldog. It's like like a guard dog is guarding you. Okay. He's your shade on your right hand. And I always talk about how Oz is or excuse me, I'm on Oz's right, I'm on Oz's right hand. And there's, Christ is sitting at the right hand of God. Sometimes it literally means that, and it's a place of protection and safety and righteousness and all of that. In this particular Hebrew word means all around protection. Okay, so it's not just your right hand, it's a figure of speech. And that figure of speech, that one word, sort of means all around protection. Okay, but it's the hand of righteousness and protects all around. So that will help you a little bit there. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. I just wanted to throw this little nugget in there because I told you way back in the Keith Psalm to follow nuggets, right? He talks a lot about the sun, the moon, and the stars throughout the Bible, and we haven't gotten into that very much, but it's a really fun rabbit hole to dig down. Ancient astronomy and the stars and the moons and how all that energy plays, or into the geometry and the ley lines of the earth and the energetic pieces, and how like the Great Pyramids of Giza are lined up perfectly with Orion's belts. If any of that stuff interests you, you start digging through the Bible with anything with the sun, moon, and the stars. And that's another thing, along with all of our holidays and our whole religion, that got hijacked by the pagans and by the occult and by our culture, and is now turned into modern quote unquote astrology. Okay. But astrology is a thing. But it wasn't about like, how does my sign match with this dude's sign? It was actually taking you through the steps of the entire redemption story. If you're into that, that's kind of a cool rabbit hole to go down. All right. The Lord's going to keep you from all evil. He's going to keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. A lot of times when people get older, right? I'm in the second half of my life. There is a regret. And my regret, of I should have done this, I should have done that. And you kind of look back at your life, right? I don't have any of those, to be very, very honest with you, because I see my role in the world in a much bigger context now through that Middle Eastern Christian lens, through the seed war, through the DNA lens. It's way bigger. So I'm the soldier out on the field rather than living for myself in my own life. But all of the paranormal, the pain, the experiences, the crazy shit that I've been through in my life, no regrets there either. Because God can't make you into a soldier if you're a fucking pussy about it. So pain and experiences to sort of like pass you through the fire, like training. Like if when you go to boot camp, dude, it's not fun, right? It's not fun to go to boot camp if you're going to be a Marine. It fucking hurts and it fucking sucks. But what comes out of the other side is a warrior. So if you value your own personal, forgive the word, narcissistic comfort in your life more than you value growth, you will probably be seeking for pain relief from God. But God can't use you as a warrior on the field in this giant battle if you're more concerned with pain relief than you are with growth and becoming a battle hardened soldier that he can count on to use in these times. He's got you, but he's going to put you through some shit to get you out to the other side and burn off you to make you into what he wants you to be. So when you go all the way back, when I say it was a physical, emotional, intellectual nightmare, and I almost went into the loony bin and it hurt and it was worse than anything I've ever experienced, what comes out of the other side of that suffering? And if I hadn't gone through that suffering, I hadn't been able to find out how to relieve myself. There's so much that I wouldn't be right now if I was more concerned with pain relief and my cosmic bellboy coming to my rescue, right? To make me comfortable. God's not a morphine pump. And my biggest fear now is that God didn't think I was fucking crazy enough to listen to what he wanted me to do. And then I get up there and I meet my maker and he's like, "Oh gosh, great job. High five, dude. But you know what? What about these 150 times when I talked to you and I asked you to do this and you didn't do it? Look what I had planned for you. How fucking badass would that have been if you just would have listened to me and got on that plane and went to Jordan? What if you would have just listened to me and reached out to those Saudis and did XYZ? What if you just listened to me and followed me when I told you to do this? Instead, you shrugged it off and all of these opportunities were missed to be a soldier for me. That's going to fucking suck. Like, those are the regrets that I don't want to know. And it's the regrets of not doing. Um, for God. So there's that. But that's sort of where I want your brain to be reading through this, because this psalm is all about the promises of God and what he's doing for you. And since he's such like the greatest guardian ever and isn't sleeping and isn't letting you down, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be comfortable. What does that say about a new context for your life? What does that say about a new you can trust him, but everything's not going to be hunky-dory because he can't make you into a soldier that way. So start thinking of God in those terms rather than the cushy, everything's going to be great and God's my personal morphine pump. That's not how it works, because we're fighting evil. We're in the seed ward. God is looking for soldiers. That's a first century Christianity. That's not a 2023 Christianity. So, what I want you to do is go through here and find all of the promises and be secure in those, so that you get just a little braver to step out of your comfort zone and see what you hear from God as to where you may go and how you may face some of the challenges that you're going through, and start to just look for those opportunities and see it in that context as we build slowly through the Psalms to find out God's character, what his promises are.
And really keeping in mind, David was a warrior. Like, David wasn't a wussy at all. And the king, the son of David, he wasn't a pussy either. He wasn't this hippy dippy nativity baby. Oh, peace and love. That wasn't Jesus, the son of David.
And then later on, what's our job in all of this? That's where we're going. We're not quite there yet. We're still talking about God and how we can be very, very secure in him and what a fucking badass he is in his part of the covenant. And then eventually we're going to get to our part. But you can't get to that part until you really let go a lot of these Western Christian ideas of everything's perfect because I'm a Christian. I bake cookies and like my life is perfect. Like, we got to let that go.
The church doesn't even know who or what Israel is. So they're not soldiers for God, despite what their John 10 preacher may have led them to believe.
God's training up fucking warriors, and you can be one or not. But personally, I want to fucking be a badass warrior. So there you have it. And I will talk to you soon.